City are out of the FA Cup after a 1-0 defeat to Chelsea, and it was difficult to watch. It was painful to watch. We are out. The quadruple is over. Was it ever really on in the first place? Maybe it never was. Maybe it was too big of an ask for this Manchester City side, for any side to win that many big games in a short period of time. Either way, I'm going to try and unpack that today. If you want to do me a little favour and maybe cheer this little face up a little bit, please download OneFootball. Help me by clicking the link in the description below. It's a great app, I promise you. It's a better app than Manchester City's performance today, and it does get all you the Manchester City news. And if you want to see any of the fallout from this game, the best place to go is OneFootball. Download it right now in the link in the description for free, and go and analyse over the stats from that performance. Go and keep up to date with all the news from around the world of football as well. Do it, please, if you don't mind. It's a great app, and it'll help cheer me up a tiny bit, and I would massively appreciate that right now. It's class, I promise you. Anyway, let's talk about that game. It was very poor. It was very poor. I cannot deny that. It was not our worst performance of the season. It's probably up there, but it was definitely not our worst performance of the season. It was definitely a debatable lineup. It was definitely, in hindsight, one too many changes. And we were definitely beaten by a very good team for what it's worth. I want to say that at the start, because Chelsea fans will be jumping on this channel now going, small oil club, not realising the irony of what they're saying. Anyway, Chelsea fans will be jumping on here now, trying to just have a go at me as if I give a shit. And thanks for the views, by the way, I will say. It's really appreciated. What I will say was Chelsea are a very good team who've improved an awful lot under Thomas Tuchel. They are clearly very, very organised, very motivated. They were a little bit fresher than City today, I think. Clearly that extra day helped them. It's not an excuse, just I think they genuinely looked a little bit fresher today. And they made life very difficult for a Manchester City side that probably took too many compromises. Chelsea, good side, and they beat us, and losing to Chelsea is never ever a bad thing, I would say, in terms of a shocking thing, because Chelsea are a good side. It's not a good thing. I guess the point I'm making is there's very little shame in losing to Chelsea, because Chelsea are a very good side, is the point I'm making. Having said that, the performance, of course, wasn't acceptable. It wasn't acceptable. I said in my preview, and I've said it with videos of Asan as well, and I'm not just saying this because you can go and find the footage if you want to. I felt that at some point something's going to give in this race for the quadruple. You know, was it ever realistic? And I guess the reason I said I felt like something would give is because when you play that many games in such a short period of time, the focus levels, the fitness levels, the energy levels, the desire levels, the concentration levels, all that kind of stuff, they need to be perfect, because if you play that many big games, the quality of the challenge in front of you is absolutely massive as well, and you can't have a bad day. And City had a bad day today, and I did feel like this was inevitable. I said this. I felt like at some point something was going to give. I of course hoped it wouldn't happen. I of course hoped that Manchester City would find a way to play through the pain and all the changes and make a positive impression on this game and get through. I hoped, and I definitely believed it was possible. And I think, to be honest, it was very possible. And I think even the game showed that a different Manchester City lineup would probably have had a chance today. And I probably disagree with the amount of changes Guardiola made. I've tried to think in my head why Guardiola made that many changes. I reckon Guardiola's got a little bit of nerves about the Premier League title, given the fact that we lost to Leeds, given the fact that I think Guardiola is the kind of person who fears the worst, ironically, like a lot of you watching this video. He probably fears the worst, and I think the Aston Villa game became a bigger game for him than this game, because he doesn't want to give United any motivation, because one game lost in the Premier League is a blip, potentially. 2 games lost in a row, that's a concern. That's a bad run of form, and right now I guess we're in that. So Guardiola, I think, made loads of changes for a few reasons. One, because I think he values the Carabao Cup final ahead of this game, because we're already in a final, and because I think he thinks the Aston Villa game is massive. And 3, probably because he feels like the players need these changes, because we're going to have to find a way to use this whole squad. And I think 4, he was probably playing some of these players to get them to maybe see something, because I think he needs an informed Jesus, Sterling and Torres at the moment, because we can't play Mahrez, Foden in a false 9 every single week, because Aguero's out injured as well, and Jesus is not informed, and we can't play them every single week because they will get injured. And I think that's why he was playing these today. Was it the right call? Hindsight says no. Of course it wasn't, and I do think there was probably one too many changes there. I understand it. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. And I think looking back, Guardiola got it wrong, and he'd probably admit that himself. And as Guardiola says, you win, you're a genius. You lose, you're a fraud. Guardiola, of course, isn't a fraud. It's quite funny if we beat Aston Villa and beat Spurs. Big if, of course, but if we do, and we're all right again, we're happy again, and we go for a realistic treble. Is it going to happen? Probably not. Who knows? It might be too difficult, but get back towards winning the Premier League, win the Carabao Cup. Life feels very good all of a sudden, because then we've got a big semi-final against PSG. But there's no denying that this was a poor performance. I'm not excusing this. I'm trying to approach this with the most rational, clear head I can. Performances today across the pitch. I was concerned. I got some people. I said it wasn't a great team online today. Some people replied saying it was a great team, because I think some people like to happy clap all the time, and some people also like to moan all the time. I consider myself a relatively centrist in this. I like to judge based on what I can see in front of me, and I think there were some positive signs actually. Unfortunately, when the game-changing moment happened, I think the optimism I had for that game disappeared as soon as Kevin De Bruyne went off, and I know things weren't great at that point anyway, but I think Kevin De Bruyne going off, very much you get that vibe of this is one of those days, This doesn't look good at all. When Kevin De Bruyne rolls his ankle, hopefully he's fine. I don't know if Guardiola said anything yet. I'll check now online if he has. I'm hoping De Bruyne is fine. What's Guardiola said? I'll try and find some quotes. But there's no denying that when Kevin De Bruyne went off, it felt like a big part of what made that game possible to turn around disappeared like that. It dissolved into the London air, and felt an awful lot more difficult all of a sudden, and so it proved. Foden's energy when he came on was admirable. He was trying to drive the team forward, showing genuinely an impressive seniority, but he was surrounded by players who didn't really know what to do. There was a number of problems throughout the team. Cancelo, unfortunately, continues to be in really poor form at the moment, Cancelo. He's lost a little bit of the spark that made him so electric and possibly the best right back in the league a few months ago, and I've got no concerns over his long-term form or anything like that, but Cancelo looks a little bit jaded, a little bit tired, or maybe he's just played himself into a bad patch, but either way, Cancelo needs to turn it around. Diaz, he was alright, not too bad. Laporte wasn't particularly bad either. Stefan, unfortunately, did misread their goal, I would say. I don't think it was the worst mistake in the world, but he definitely misread their goal. He came out. He came out, didn't read the ball, and they scored. Guardiola, by the way, said about De Bruyne, tomorrow we're going to make a test with doctors, but it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good, Guardiola said. Great stuff. That's breaking news as I'm reading that. Guardiola has just confirmed that De Bruyne's injury does not look good. That's not a few days. I've got a feeling it's a ligament in his ankle, which would be potentially season ending. We'll see. Fingers crossed, touch wood, and all that kind of stuff. Either way, Mendy looked like a rusty player who had no idea how to help with the transition and the build-up play, and I think we really missed Zinchenko's composure in midfield. I didn't really see the need for Mendy to play this. I thought Zinchenko would have been fine. He's not played that much football recently. He would have been on cloud 9 as well after the game the other day. A big performance for him. Guardiola played Mendy. Didn't agree. He went for that. Wasn't really happy about that. But yeah, here we are. Rodri and Fernandinho has worked before briefly together, but when I was looking at that midfield, I understood why he wants to rest Bernardo and Gundogan, because they are key players. I understand that. Still, it felt very, very, very cautious. I don't think it was meant to be cautious. I think it was more of just a numbers thing. De Bruyne, now we've lost him, which seems an absolute devastating blow. And I understand why he played Mahrez, Torres and Sterling, even if I didn't... Not Torres, Mahrez, sorry. Jesus, Sterling and Torres, even if I didn't agree with that many changes, because I felt he was going to try and see how they got on. Jesus had a few lively moments, but to be honest, Jesus had absolutely no support whatsoever. I think there's a couple of nice turns from Jesus, a couple of nice 1-2s and flicks and all that kind of stuff, but there was no one around him. Torres absolutely invisible, unfortunately. A few people asked me on the stream, am I concerned about Torres? No, if I'm being honest. I'm not impressed by Torres right now. I'm honest, always, but I'm not concerned about Torres. I don't think Torres is a problem right now. I think Torres is a man who doesn't really know where he belongs right now. I will judge Torres next season when life is better in Manchester for a young lad, when he's a little bit more mature, he's found his place in this system, and he's adapted to this place. And he's had a weird season. Started relatively well, played a few games, then couldn't get in the team, then had COVID, lost quite a little bit of weight, had it quite badly, and ever since he's not really found his form again, and he looks a bit lost, if I'm being honest. Torres on the pitch looks like a guy who doesn't know how to get involved. Young, plenty of time, but right now he's not playing well. I can't deny that, and right now he looks relatively useless. Hopefully we'll see the best of Torres next season, because he does have time on his side. Sterling, that was dreadful, truly dreadful. what I will say is I don't know what's happened to Sterling. It's wherever's going with Sterling, it's in his head massively, because that was an embarrassing performance from Sterling. Nothing good. One run, one decent spin and run, but genuinely really, really poor performance. He is absolutely shot confidence-wise, and I've already seen some people rewriting it, history, saying he was never good in the first place. Fuck off, is what I will say. Yes, he's playing terribly, but can we not rewrite history? There's no way that Man City are as devastating as they once were. Everyone's like, do you remember Sterling and Sane? It was amazing. Now, yeah, but Sterling was never good, actually, but we all loved it when we played wingers and Sterling's. No, he was very good at one point. He was pushing world class at one point. Even last season when he wasn't playing that well, he still scored 31 goals, But the idea he only ever scored tap-ins. This is the caveats I'm adding, by the way. I'm adding this because it's context. It's called context. It's not an excuse, it's context. So basically, the idea that he only ever scored tap-ins was nonsense. He scored some absolute quality goals for his movement, his game understanding. Anyone could score 30 goals in this team. Well, why does no other wingers do that? Why does Mahrez not do it? Why does Foden not do it? Why does Sane not do it? He didn't do it because it's his understanding, his game movement, his intelligence. But what I will say is right now he is abysmal. I am honest, once again. Sterling's form has absolutely dropped off a cliff. People were asking why wasn't he taken up by Guardiola. I don't know if he was trying to prove a point to himself or Sterling. The only explanation I can give for this is it was not based on performance. There's no way Guardiola was sat there thinking Sterling played well enough today to stay on the pitch. There is no way. The reasons I can possibly muster up... He's chatted to Sterling before the game and said, I'll give you 90 minutes, go out there and show me why you deserve to be playing in the next few games. That's the kind of thing managers say, and he stuck to his word. Maybe that's what he said. Maybe that second possible reason, maybe, just maybe, the performance was so dreadful that Guardiola was simply hoping that if he played Sterling, he might score a goal or do something good to spark Raheem back to anything approaching his best, because fucking hell, we all know Sterling needs a little bit of confidence right now. That didn't happen. And thirdly, maybe, this is another reason, maybe Guardiola played Sterling to prove a point to Sterling that maybe he shouldn't be in the team right now. Show me I'm wrong. I don't think Guardiola's that self-destructive for what it's worth. I think the reasons are probably more honest than that. I don't think Guardiola would do that. I don't think he's that cynical. I think Guardiola's a winner. And fourth reason, I guess, is maybe because he didn't want to risk Mahrez or Bernardo. Maybe he didn't want to play those two players because Kevin De Bruyne at this point was injured, Maybe he's thinking an injury to those two, putting another player on the pitch right now would be disastrous because they are my first team players. So maybe he looked at De Bruyne going off and think it's a risk I can't take. So there are some of the possible reasons. But one thing is for certain, there's no way Guardiola's impressed with Sterling's performances. There's no way Sterling's impressed with his own, because that was truly awful. It's a problem. He won't play in the big games right now he played this one. He only played this one because he's the backup. Maybe we shouldn't have made this many changes. That is definitely an argument for another day. Maybe it should have been Aston Villa who's playing against. Having said that, I do think Guardiola's concerned about Aston Villa now. I think Aston Villa becomes a big issue because of the Leeds game. And we are sat here now trying to prioritise games that all have deep layered meanings. Either way, the quadruple is no longer a thing. This City side wasn't good today. We made too many changes, maybe two more changes in that team. Two less changes, sorry. And we're sat here in an FA Cup final. But I guess we will never know. It's easy to say that in hindsight. It's easy to rewrite that. I'm disappointed. I'm immensely disappointed. Of course I am. I can't say I'm surprised. I did say on videos that I felt something would give at some point. I hoped it wouldn't. But today it was KDB's ankle and Manchester City's FA Cup run. We have to win now. We have to win the Carabao Cup. We have to beat Aston Villa. We have to. The season is back on course then. But unfortunately, life at the very top, you can't win a quadruple or do something like that without a little bit of luck and a bit of fortuitousness. Or maybe the run of the draw. Maybe we needed someone lesser than Chelsea in this FA Cup semi-final. Maybe we needed a good draw here. But we got a tough draw, unfortunately. And time caught with us. The amount of games caught with us. This doesn't undermine anything about this season. I know we wanted a quadruple, but it was never realistic. We're probably going to win the league. We're probably going to win another trophy as well. Let's remember that. Let's try and have a little bit of perspective. You're damn right you can moan. I'm not telling you not to moan about it, but let's remember that we're all human. Guardiola got everything wrong today, in my opinion. He took maybe one too many changes, but Guardiola, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Either way, we pick ourselves up, we go again, and hopefully, we find a way to beat Aston Villa because we have to. We need a bit of positivity. De Bruyne are out. It's bad. That is my. If you wanted to come here and watch me rant like Arsenal Fan TV or something like that, that's not where I am. I am very disappointed, but I'll try to see the bigger picture, and hopefully we get a reaction. Put it this way, if we lose against Villa, though, I will not be happy, Stephen. It can't be for nothing, this game. It can't be for nothing. For now, love you all loads. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe. Please download OneFootball. Let me know your thoughts on the game in the comments. I might duck the fan view live because I am tired. I am tired and I can't be bothered listening to people moan for an hour. Now, personal, it's just I can't be arsed. Can't be asked today. Maybe I will. I don't know. Let's see what mood I'm in. I might just do half an hour or something like that. Either way, if you're watching this, big love to you all. Shit happens. Bad day. Pep got it wrong. We move on.